Hello, welcome to this introduction to Mendeley. Mendeley is a free online reference management tool that provides quite a viable alternative to more expensive options such as EndNote and Reference Manager to allow you to save and store references for a project, for a piece of work or an assignment, or just as a tool for collecting academic content that's of interest to you and organising it all in one place. It also allows you to do things like produce bibliographies and insert references into documents and so on. It's completely free. You can access it online from pretty much anywhere in the world once you've set yourself up with an account, and it's well worth acquainting yourself with it to see if it's for you. So we're going to demo some of the main features today. The first thing you need to do is either sign up by clicking the box here to register for an account. Like I say, it's completely free, so you just need to click there to sign up and just input some simple details to get yourself a Mendeley account. I'm already a member of Mendeley, so I'm just going to click sign in, and it just asks me for my email address and my password, and I'll sign in. Okay, so this is my dashboard. There's a social element to Mendeley in that you can be friends with other users and be connected to them and be updated as to what they've been doing with their Mendeley libraries and so on. You don't have to participate in that if you don't want to. You don't have to share your work or make it public or be friends with people, but you can if you want to. But what I'm going to do is go to my home page really, which is my library. That's what I think of as my home page. This is where all my Mendeley content lives and all the records that I'm interested in. So when you've signed up for a Mendeley account and you come into this screen, there won't be any references there just yet, but there's one more thing that you need to do, or a couple more things that you need to do. The first is that you need to install the web importer. There's a link here from the dashboard that says install the web importer, and if you click there, it gives you instructions on how to add a little bookmarklet button that will enable you to import results that you find, content that you find on the internet, into Mendeley. Now, if you're using Internet Explorer or Firefox or Safari, you can pretty much just pick that button up and drag it up to your menu bar like that and let it go, and you'll have a link to Mendeley and you'll have your import button. If you're using Chrome, as I'm doing here, you will need to visit the Chrome Web Store and install the Mendeley Chrome bookmarklet, which will put, instead of a link here, we'll put a little button. I've already got it installed over here. So if you're a Chrome user, go to the Chrome Store online, type in Mendeley, and you need the Import to Mendeley extension that's offered. Install it and you'll have your import button. So you just need to do either of those things depending on your browser. The final thing that we need to do is to go back to the dashboard. This isn't compulsory, but it is highly advisable that you download the free desktop version of Mendeley. What we've been seeing here so far is the online version, but there is also a desktop version that you can download. It automatically synchronises with any changes that you make in the online version, and it means that at home or on any computer where you've got Mendeley installed as a desktop version, you will always have access to your records, even if you didn't have internet access or the internet went down where you lived or something like that. You would still be able to access your records. It's also the downloadable version of Mendeley that allows you to do things like cite while you write and produce bibliographies and so on. So it is well worth downloading the desktop version as well. To do so, you just need to click download Mendeley free there, and it will automatically run and install on your computer just like any other program. So I would strongly recommend that you do that. I already have it downloaded on this computer. You can see it just there at the bottom of the screen. That's the Mendeley desktop version that I've got downloaded there. So you just click there and download the software. It's completely free, and that will enable you to produce not only a useful backup of your online Mendeley account, but an alternative version of it that will allow you to do a few extra cool things with your references. Okay, so the first thing we need to do is to think about adding some actual content to your Mendeley library, and there's a few ways that you can add references and content. The first is manually, just by clicking on Add Document, and it asks us to say where we want to add it to. I'm going to add it to my All Documents folder. Everybody has one of those in Mendeley, and we simply say what type of content it is that we're wanting to add. I'm going to say that I'm going to add a journal article. Then we put in the title of the article. I'll call this article Guide to Mendeley. Then the author's first name and last name, so Reese Angie. We'll say that it's from the Journal of Reference Management. And then we just need to put some numbers in here for the volume, the part, the page numbers and so on. So I'll say it's from Volume 1, Issue 1, appearing on page 1 from 2001. Okay, if there's a URL for it, we can add the URL there. We can add any keywords that we might want to use as well, and then we just click on Save. And now if I click on Recently Added, it should show the Guide to Mendeley has appeared just there, so that's the reference that I've just added. And what I'll now do is I will just go to the desktop version of Mendeley. I'll open that up, and I just want to make sure that the content that I've just added to the online version of Mendeley has imported into the desktop version. So I'll just click on Synchronize. There's a little Synchronize button here. You can see there's all the folders that I had that you saw in the online version, just the same in the desktop version. And if I click on Synchronize and then click on Recently Added, again there's the Guide to Mendeley that I added just now, and it even tells me the time of day that I added it. So just hitting that Synchronize button draws down any content that I've added previously to the online version. Okay, so I mentioned that there are other ways of getting content into Mendeley. One of the simplest ones is adding references from databases. I'm going to go now into Embase from our SHA library, access to Embase via Ovid. So I'll just go to the website now, and I'm going to log in, do a quick search in Embase, and try and import some records into Mendeley. So I'll just choose Embase from the list of references that appears. Just there, that'll do. Click on Select, and I'll do a search. I think I'll do a search for Mendeley and see if there's any references in Embase about searching Mendeley. I don't think there's likely to be a mesh heading, so I'll just do a simple text word search for Mendeley, see if anything comes up. Okay, 7 references with the word Mendeley in, that's good. And if I want to import those, I can use, first of all, I can use my my Import to Mendeley button. If I click on that, I get this lovely little window that appears, and it says Import Documents to Mendeley, and here's all my results, just exactly as they appear here. They appear up here. We've got a nice little list of those 7 results, and if I just click Import on each one that I want, I'll just import the first 3, and those should then appear in Mendeley. It says here View in your Mendeley library. I can click that link and it will open up my Mendeley library and show them to me, or I can simply go back to the already open tab that I have, click on Recently Added again, it will refresh, and then on top of the Guide to Mendeley that I typed in manually earlier on, we can see 1, 2, 3 references that I've just added from Ovid. And if I go back to the desktop version and I click on Synchronize, again those 3 references have been added that I just put into the online version of Mendeley. So there is another way we can import references into Mendeley, and that's direct from a database like Ovid. So I've got my Mendeley search up here, and I've selected one more reference by M. Fenner. So I've selected just that one that I want to actually export and then import into the desktop version of Reference Manager. I'll just click on Export. It tells me that I want to export, how I want to export them. I can choose from a huge range of export types, but I want RIS. That is the format that Mendeley likes to import into the desktop version. Citation and abstract is just fine. I'll click on Export. So we've got a file that's just downloaded at the bottom of the screen. I'll ask it to just show it for me where it's saved it. ris1.ris is the file that I've saved. I'm just checking where I've saved it because I need to know where it's saved on my computer in order to import it into the desktop version of Mendeley. Okay, so what I'll do is in the desktop version of Mendeley, I will just click on import documents to add to the current collection. I'll choose that file, click on open, and it adds that reference for me by MFenna, Reference Management Meets Web 2.0. So it's useful to be able to import files that way. One thing that's really useful for is if you've got a lot of references, because in the previous example I showed where I just clicked the Import to Mendeley button, I had then had to individually click each reference to import it, you'll remember. With this way, if you had say 100 references to import, it would be better to do it this way rather than individually clicking 100 references each one to import, when you could just download all of them and import them as one big file. So this is a kind of a simpler way of doing that. So I'll just click on Sync to make sure that those have gotten added to the, so that's been added to the online version, and I'll now go to the online version. I'll shut down Ovid now, go back to Mendeley, click on Recently Added, and there's the reference by MFenna added to the library. Another useful thing you can do is you can set up folders. You can see I've got quite a few folders here set up in Mendeley so that I can compartmentalize my results and just put a few references in a certain area just to keep them separate, as I say, a separate collection perhaps for an assignment or a paper I was writing. To do that, I just click on Create Folder. I'll give it a name. I'll call it my new project, and I'll click on Save. And I've now got a folder here called My New Project. If I click on that folder, there's nothing in it at the moment, but if I go back to my recently added, and we'll assume that I want to add all of these references that I've found today to that folder, I just select them, click on Add Selected Documents to My New Project, click on Add, and now if I go to My New Project, I've got 5 references there. And if I go again to the desktop version of Mendeley and just click on Sync, the folder now appears, My New Project, that I just created online, and it's got the references in that I selected, so they're there. Okay, so that's just a quick tour of some of the things that Mendeley can do. We think it's a really, really useful tool. There's lots more you can explore in it and find out about. It's free to give it a go. It doesn't cost any money, so it's well worth a try. If we go back into the dashboard, you'll notice that it does indicate that there's quite a lot of well-supported various different online suppliers of information are well supported in Mendeley. If I just go into the web importer page, it notes that these are some of the, just some, not all, but just some of the online content providers that have really good linking with Mendeley, and where your import to Mendeley button will work very effectively to draw content in. So have a go with it if you think it might be useful. Have a play around with it. Hopefully you'll find it a useful resource.